Hello, all my beautiful Broadway friends. It's your Broadway buddy, Ben Cameron. Of course, you are listening to Playbill Presents the Broadway Cast, a very special episode, nay edition, no slice. It's like a slice of a show today. I'm here with the incredible Colleen Ballinger. Hi, Colleen Ballinger!
Hi!
I'm
Thank
applauding
you for that applaud.
you. Yes, of course I'm going to applaud for you. Of course, many of you will know her as Miranda Sings,
Yes.
and from the hit Netflix show Haters Back Off, which just debuted its second season, which is crazy to have a second season of a show of something that you created. How are you digesting that?
I'm not digesting it well. I feel like it's so shocking still. I can't believe it. I feel like I pinch myself every day. It's so weird because, this character is just, it was a joke and I never thought it would really go anywhere. And then if you'd told me 10 years ago when I created the character that this is where I would be, I would laugh in your face.
Well, and we were talking a little bit before we started recording that we met back when you used to play the clubs.
Yes. Yeah, back in the club days.
Days. And I had a show, my show Broadway Sessions that you came and performed. And I remember so clearly that Miranda Sings never broke character once.
Yeah.
And that's how you would play it when you go out and do gigs. Is that right?
Back in the day, I didn't want anyone to know my true identity. I was like so fascinated by the fact that people thought Miranda was a real person. And I wanted to hold on to that for as long as I could. So, I was really inspired by like Andy Kaufman and people like that. So I was like, I can't let anyone know my real name or what I actually look like or what I actually sound like. So I was really adamant about going to gigs in character, staying in character, the entire time and seeing how many people I could fool.
Yeah, so I remember being at one point going, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the reality here is. And it's interesting because you do play into that during the second season of Haters Back Off.
Yes.
And I love that you even bring up Andy Kaufman because I think there's an Andy Kaufman reference.
There is an Andy Kaufman reference in the show. Yeah.
And the second season, of course, is all about Miranda's road to big Broadway. And it's hilarious. And so much of it is based on some true life situations.
Yeah,
Can
a
you
lot
speak
of
to
it.
that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So both seasons actually are very heavily based on things that actually happened to me. So I sit down with the writers because I write the show as well, and I sit down with them and I say, here are all the things that actually happened in my career because my career has been kind of bonkers and insane. So I write down all the weird experiences I've had trying to make it in this business, and we kind of look at them all and go, okay, what would make a good story in our show? And so everything really has been based on reality. Actually, I feel like, do you remember if I performed, was it at Therapy with Bianca Del Rio? Has she performed there before? Or was
certainly had back then,
I'm wondering if
sure.
that was the gig, because there was one where I performed with Bianca Del Rio, and actually that is what inspired one of the episodes in season 1 at the gay bar, because, I performed at Therapy and lots of other gay bars here in New York City, and it inspired that story in season 1 where I'm at a gay bar and there's a drag queen there who gets mad at me and all that stuff. So everything's inspired.
Sounds like Bianca Del Rio.
Yeah. She's
mad.
very sweet, but Miranda was like not understanding of the fact that it was, a drag queen. So I'm pretty sure I referenced Bianca as a male, like while she was in drag.
Yeah.
And so she did not like that.
No, they hardly ever do.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, it was Miranda, so Miranda's not the smartest.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, all of the stories are really based on my real life. Even this season, don't want to give too many spoilers, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
There's a scene where people aren't going to believe me, but there's a scene where Miranda poops in a prop toilet backstage. And when we turned in that script to Netflix, they were like, this is insane. Like, this is too far. Like, this would never happen. Let's try to keep it real. And I was like, okay, but that happened to me. So, and that happened last season too, with all the poop in the backyard and like the plumbing messed up. And they're like, this would never happen. I'm like, no, that really did happen to me. So like, okay, you could keep it because it actually happened. So, we try to keep it as closely related to my real life as possible. And when Miranda started, it was very popular in the theater community.
Absolutely.
So that's why Miranda wanted to go to Broadway this season.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you about that because your roots are in the theater, Colleen. Your roots are there. So let's start at the very beginning, which we find
is a very good place to start.
Don't you think so? When you read, you begin with
ABC.
So I want to know, first of all, what are your very first memories of seeing something on stage? What inspired you that you went, hey, I like that. I see me up there.
Well, I grew up listening to musical theater and singing. My mom always said that I was singing like while I was talking. As a little girl, I was always singing and humming songs. But my mom started me in voice lessons when I was really young, like 5 or 6. She was like, she loves to sing. Let's see if this can go somewhere. And then my grandpa actually loved musical theater, like loved Broadway shows, and was always singing musical theater. Every morning he woke up all the grandkids by singing "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning" from Oklahoma every single morning.
Single tear down my cheek.
I know, truly.
That's so cute.
And so he kind of inspired that love for the arts in me because he loved it, and I was the only grandchild of all his grandkids who would like go see shows with him. And I remember he took me to see all the like community theaters shows in my hometown, and he would lean over to me when I was I was like 8 or 9 years old. He'd lean over and go, "You're going to be on that stage one day, Colleen." And he would say that to me, and he was like my hero and my biggest inspiration. And so, my grandpa's totally what inspired me to do it, and I was just obsessed.
What cast albums did you listen to growing up with him?
Oh my God, anything Sondheim I was obsessed with.
Yeah?
I was a big Sondheim nerd. I remember being like 15 years old and singing Being Alive at the piano and crying and be like, I'm going to be alone forever. And Sondheim gets me. Like, I was such a little
I felt the same way about that song.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to have Bernadette Peters sing this song at my wedding. That's reasonable.
Yeah, I was just obsessed with Sondheim. But I loved it all. I remember being obsessed with the Thoroughly Modern Millie soundtrack when I was around 15 or 16. I would walk around school with like my Walkman on and like be listening to it and try to show it to my friends, thinking it was like really cool. And then my friends would be like, Colleen, what are you listening to?
I very clearly remember sitting in a minivan trying to talk people through the plot of Les Mis. And then?
Yeah, I try to be like, no, you don't understand look at the geniusness of Sondheim in this, like the same theme is in this song as it is in this song because of the, like I would be so obsessed and people just thought I was a freak.
And when did you get on stage for the first time? What were your early career roles, Colleen?
Man. Well, my very first performance, I was 5 and I was performing at churches. I was singing a song at churches. But my first show, oh God. Well, there's so many versions because I was homeschooled for a while.
Were you really?
Yes. And thus a lot of the story in Haters Back Off, Miranda's homeschooled and they do a backyard play. Well, my first play was a backyard play. We did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in a backyard, and it was trash. But I mean that in the sweetest way. I have very fond memories. But my first time being on stage in a musical theater production was Anything Goes. Ooh. I was in the ensemble. I think I was 13 or 14, but we were traveling with the show to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland, so we couldn't take big sets. So my director was like, you know what?
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a huge
deal. It was
deal.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
But my director was like, how can we take big sets overseas? I know, we need inflatable sets. How can we have inflatable sets? Oh, I know, our show was called, get ready for it.
Please tell me.
Anything Goes, ... in outer space. I am not kidding. That was my first musical theater production.
Last, Anything Goes, ... in outer space?
In outer space. Yeah, so we had
in outer space.
Yeah,
space.
Instead of like the cruise ship, it was like a spaceship, and we had like aliens, and like it was a mess.
And I'm sure in the moment you were so committed to it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was an ensemble member. I think I had one line. I wish I could remember it because I'd do it for you right now. But I was very much an overactor. Like I was such a theater kid that I wanted to be a lead so bad. You know, I was that ensemble person who's just taking it too far and
I'm going to put on my
really
oxygen
dramatic.
helmet and my moon boots.
Very, very dramatic, very big faces and just crazy person.
Did you get to do roles in high school?
I did. My first lead role was Mabel in Pirates of Penzance.
Marvelous.
Yeah, when I was 16.
I love the Pirates of Penzance.
Me too. It's one of my favorites.
I think it could have been written yesterday.
I know.
Is how I feel about
think
it.
It's so
smart.
good. Yeah, it's so smart, and the music is beautiful. I just love that show so much, and I feel like whenever I tell people I love it, they don't get it. They're like, "What? No one even knows about that show." But
it's so ahead of
good.
its time. Yeah.
I love that show.
For wandering one.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I played Mabel when I was 16, and I cried when the cast list went up. I couldn't believe I got the lead. It was my first lead in anything. And then I was Cosette in Les Mis. And that was high school for me. I did a lot of ensemble roles.
So wait, we're talking. There's some serious soprano action going on here.
Yeah.
I'm listening to this.
Yeah. So then I went to college for vocal performance and studied opera and stuff. But I did theater as well while I was there. So I did a bunch of shows in college. I did. Oh my God. I did Seussical and I did Into the Woods.
Oh man.
I can't even think. I'm brain farting. But I did so much theater in college. Yeah.
So when during this process was the goal to be on Broadway at some point?
Oh yes. My goal was to be on Broadway since I was a little girl.
Absolutely.
That was the ultimate dream, Still, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I think that's interesting. And one of the things I wanted to bring up to you is I think there's something very kind of cool about with the success of Miranda Sings do you think there's something to that this may be the very catalyst to give you this platform to make your Broadway debut?
Yeah, I mean, that would be incredible. I can't even imagine what that would be like. I think I would just, I would do any show. Like if any show reached out to me and said like, will you play this part? I'd be like, yes, when, where?
Absolutely.
I would love to be on Broadway. That's been my dream since I was a little girl. And especially since, my grandpa was my hero and my everything. And he loved theater. And he said to me when I was a little girl, you're going to be on that stage. To him, I mean, he passed away a few years ago, but to him, I was already on Broadway performing in like basements of bars and stuff. He thought I was on Broadway. I remember I flew out to New York and I performed with you, and I had my own full-on show at Birdland, the Broadway at Birdland series.
Of course.
And I
Shout
told
out
him
Jim
about
Caruso.
that. Yeah, Jim Caruso. He's I love him so
Yeah.
much. But anyway, I did that, and I told him, and he thought I was on. He called everyone, told everyone I was on Broadway. He thinks I already made it. So I made it in Grandpa's eyes. So I'm good. But Broadway would be amazing.
So on that journey though, when did the Miranda character come out?
So Miranda's first viral video was in 2009, April of 2009. And viral back then is not viral now. So viral back then, I got 70,000 views overnight.
Yeah.
And now if I got 70,000 views overnight, I'd be like, oh no, what's happening? My career's over. But back then that was huge. And it was very popular in the theater community. That's who was watching my videos. So I flew out to New York a lot and performed anywhere in New York City because it was the Broadway community that was supporting me and watching and coming to my shows. And then I would also go to London a lot and performed in the West End because that's really the only places where people knew who Miranda was. It wasn't until the last, I'd say, like 5-ish years where it kind of spread to a wider audience and a younger audience. But initially, I mean, if you watch videos of my performances 7 or 8 years ago, it's all like middle-aged like theater goers. Like it's not kid. Now you go and it's like younger.
Kids,
it's like teens.
For sure.
So I think that's usually shocking to people when they see that. It's like the audience like laughs at different jokes than they do now. But I really appreciate it because now I feel like it's given me a sense of like I have like levels to my comedy now in my live show and in Netflix where there's stuff for kids to laugh at and there's stuff for adults to laugh at and relate to. So I think that's kind of cool that I've been able to find
that
things.
balance and develop her as you go. You talk to people who play like Elphaba or Christine or these roles they've played for a long time, and they say you never stop learning about the character. Do you feel that's true of Miranda?
Oh my God, yes. Like Miranda, I feel like I know Miranda so well now that you could ask me any question and I would know the answer immediately. And people have complimented my acting on the Netflix show, which is so sweet, but it's very odd to me because I've never really considered myself that much of an actress. I'm a musical theater girl, but I love to sing. I've never really acted seriously in anything before. And I honestly feel that if I ever did any other role, I wouldn't be able to play it well on television because I don't know them as well as Miranda. Like I know Miranda so well. I'm like, what would it be like to play someone else? Like that's so terrifying because I don't know who they are.
Is it something that you hunger to do as Colleen?
Yeah, I think it would be fun. It's not something I'm like, desperate to do. I love playing Miranda. I hope I get to do Miranda forever. It's so much fun. And I can't imagine my life without her at this point. So it would, but
I think a lot of people feel that way, that they can't imagine their lives without her. Can we play a little bit with Miranda now? We're going to play a little bit of a game that's called Miranda Takes Broadway.
Oh, gosh.
So what we've done here, Colleen, if you're down, we have found a couple very famous show tunes that we would like, given the theme of season 2, we would like Miranda to take a whack at and perform for us to the best of her ability. Okay. So if you look right here, under there, we prepared some lyric sheets, and we're going to start classic. Okay. Colleen, we're going to start classic. We're going to start with Miranda Sings Hello, Dolly.
Okay, amazing.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. All right, you ready for this?
I don't know that I ever could be.
Okay, here we go. All right, everybody, gonna sing some Hello, Dolly. Here we go. Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. Actually, I'm going to change the words so they make more sense. You ready for this?
I am.
I don't like the lyrics, how he wrote them, so I'm going to do it better.
Okay.
I'm looking swell, Miranda. I can tell, Miranda. I'm still glowing, I'm still crowing, I'm still going strong.
Yay!
Thank you.
That's beautiful, and I love the lyric changes, Miranda.
Thank you.
Okay, great. We're going to go a little bit more contemporary now, because everybody likes Hamilton. Colleen, are you a big Hamilton fan?
I have a confession.
Please tell me. This is the time to confess.
I have listened to Hamilton twice all the way through.
Okay.
Thought it was brilliant.
Sure, of course.
But haven't had the time to memorize it like a true musical theater fan.
Oh, fair enough.
Probably don't know this very well.
Great,
so,
strike. Moving
or
on.
you can sing it for me and then I would know.
It's the part that goes, I remember that night, I just might regret that night for the rest of my days. I remember those soldier boys tripping over themselves to win our praise. Okay, moving on. Although that felt so good for my soul.
I loved it. How about you just do it? How about you do it how you think Miranda would do it?
Oh, interesting. I remember that night, I just might regret that day for the rest of my days. I remember those soldier boys tripping over themselves to win our praise.
Wow.
Was that good?
That was perfect.
Was that? Well,
that was
then
really
that happened
good.
on the program.
Really good.
Okay, we'll give you one
Okay.
more for Miranda to take Broadway. How about dear Evan Hansen?
I saw it last time I was here.
You did?
I sobbed the whole
forget
show.
about it.
Are you kidding?
I mean, listen, I sat in the balcony and I got a ticket for myself, by myself, and I paid way too much for it because that's what you have to do if you want to see it. And I wanted to see it before the Tonys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and
of
see
course.
it like when I had that momentum. And everybody around me just
sniffling,
weeping
snotty mess.
and sobbing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was that. I didn't know what to expect. I actually knew nothing about the show before I went in. I just knew it was a hit.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to know because that's how I went into Next to Normal. When Next to Normal came out, I knew nothing about it. And I went in and I was like, this is the best show in the whole world. And I just thought it was so incredible. So I kind of had the same experience with this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel like you want to take a whack at
Yeah.
this?
Oh, I know this one.
You know this one?
Yeah.
All right, Miranda, take on Waving Through a Window.
Okay.
On the outside, always looking in. Will I ever be more than I ever been? Cause I'm tapping on the glass. I'm waving through a window. I tried to speak, but nobody can hear. So I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass. I'm waving through a window.
Yay! And that's how Miranda takes Broadway. Oh my gosh,
go.
that makes me incredibly, incredibly happy.
Me too.
Kind of you were talking about how viral is today, not what viral used to
Yes.
be. And a YouTube presence for a lot of young musical theater actors is so important.
Yeah.
And they get, they have to curate it and make sure the right videos are out and they're singing the right songs. And how do you think that has affected kind of young performers now with YouTube being kind of a necessity?
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and I think more people need to embrace it. I find a lot of people in the industry, in the theater industry, and just in the Hollywood mainstream industry, are kind of there's pushback towards social media and YouTube, and that's not how you make it. But I think people just need to embrace it. The internet is the future, and let's all work together to make it work. And so I think that I think it's amazing that the internet is now a great resource for people. I mean, I wish that I had YouTube back in the day to upload audition videos and watch musical theater songs, see how other people performed them, get ideas and tips and
Be
stuff.
exposed to new music. And
Totally. Yeah, that's, back in my day. Back in my day, I had to buy the CD or the cassette tape,
Oh, yeah.
So, and I would just sit, and I remember sitting and reading the CD, the lyrics on the CD, pamphlet thing, and trying to read along with every musical theater show and memorize the lyrics like that. I would sit on my floor in my bedroom and listen to the CD on repeat.
I did the exact same
Really?
thing. Oh, we would have been best of friends.
I wish I knew you because I
know.
didn't have any friends in high school. So
I would have tried to braid your hair, and neither did I.
Oh, I love that.
I would have tried to braid your hair. We would listen to Phantom of the Opera and try to act it out together.
I love that. Yeah, I was the girl who ate lunch in the theater or in the choir room. That was my spot.
Because those are the safe zones.
Those are the safe zones. If I was outside, there was one bush that I would sit behind to eat. I'm not kidding at all.
You would sit behind a bush to eat?
Yeah, I sat behind a bush. It was comfortable. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I could listen to my Broadway shows.
And I just love that you were a Sondheim head, too.
Oh, big time.
I remember checking out Sunday in the Park with George from the public library and listening to that and trying to figure that out as a story as a 13, 14-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
That's heady stuff.
Oh, yeah. So good.
What
So
experiences through the worldwide success of Miranda Sings, opportunities or people that you've met that have really delighted that inner theater geek?
Oh my God. Okay. There's one thing that immediately pops to my mind. And it was, I got to give a voice lesson to Sutton Foster on stage. And when I say she was my idol, I can't tell you enough how
Did
much
you
that woman
remain
was
dry?
my idol. Yeah, I stayed in character, but there's one picture of me and this was way back in the day. This is maybe 7 years ago or something when I really did try to stay in character, and not a lot of people knew who I was. It was for this benefit performance in Los Angeles, and I performed with, I'm trying to remember who else was there. I think Anthony Rapp and Adam Pascal were there, and who else? Sutton Foster. There was a bunch of people there who were I was, geeking out over.
For sure.
But they told me, okay, do you know who Sutton Foster is? And I was like, mm-hmm. And they were like, we want Miranda to give her a voice lesson. Are you cool with that? I was like, yeah, sure.
You're like,
that's
hold on for
fine.
1 second. Let me just scream into this pillow.
Oh, totally. And there's this great picture of me. I have to find it and send it to you. But there's this great picture of me where she's singing. I'm teaching her how to sing, and she's at the mic singing, and I'm standing behind her. Just, you can see the delight in my eyes. I'm not in character at all. You can see that I'm just geeking out. But that moment was pretty epic for me. And then the first time I ever came to New York City, Frankie Grande was in the cast of Mamma Mia at the time, and he called and asked if I would perform with him.
Spoiler alert. We're just going to go into a spoiler into season 2 here. So if you have not watched all of season 2 yet, if you haven't finished your binge, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Yeah.
Clear.
Yes, Frankie Grande is in season 2.
Absolutely.
Because he was one of the first people to call me when Miranda got popular, and he was in the cast of Mamma Mia, and he said, come perform with us at Easter Bonnet, which is this big benefit that Broadway puts on every year. It's amazing. And, that was back when not many people knew who I was, and I got to perform with the cast of Mamma Mia on the Lion King stage. And I remember just being like, 22 or however old I was, just being like, this is insane. Like I was standing on a Broadway stage, and that was pretty incredible too.
How neat was that to do that on the series, to recreate kind of that moment, or just having Frankie as part of it?
Yeah, it was amazing. It's so weird every time we recreate anything on the Netflix show, just because I remember it just being so magical in my mind from back in the day, all these wonderful experiences I got to have. And then now to recreate them on my own set, where like I'm an executive producer on this, it's just so insane. It's mind blowing.
It's magical. And I love those moments when you can check in with the girl eating lunch behind the bush.
Yeah.
Who's like, I'm sorry, but sometimes on.
Yeah.
It's super exciting.
Yeah.
And just while we're in spoiler land, I think the way that you guys handled the twist at the end of season 2 was absolutely genius.
Thank
and
you.
Does that open the door for possibilities in the future?
Yeah, I mean, if we get a season 3, I hope we get a season 3. We'll see what happens. Yeah, knock on some wood. That's glass, but it'll work.
Ouch! Now my knuckles are bleeding, but it's okay.
Yeah, if we got a season 3, I mean, the opportunity for creativity with that is going to be so much fun. I mean, bringing Colleen in with Miranda is something that, Netflix has been really excited about since they picked up the show. They were like, when can we put Colleen on? And I was like, it's not time yet. Like, I have an idea for how I want to introduce Colleen. And then I know I sound like a crazy talking about myself in the third person, but
no, I'm really into it. It's like an audience with Shirley Bassey.
But it's the way I have to explain it, considering I am 2 people. I'm Miranda and Colleen. But I was really excited to see what people's reactions would be to the end, and it's been fun seeing the fan reactions online to, Colleen coming on. Does that mean Miranda doesn't exist anymore and Colleen's faking it? Which one's actually Miranda? Which one's actually Colleen? It's really fun to see everyone's reactions.
It is really fun, and I remember watching it being like, gosh darn, that's smart, and it opens up so many possibilities. Okay, final geek out moment.
Okay,
favorite musical of all time.
Into the Woods, Stephen Sondheim.
And favorite show tune of all time?
Oh, gosh. It's got to be What a Beautiful Morning, just because my grandpa.
Oh, my gosh. Again, that's another tear. Yeah. If you could play any character in the musical theater canon.
Oh, my God. Any character? Pigger's wife, Into the Woods.
Atta girl. If you could play opposite any Broadway actor, who would you play opposite?
Oh, God. Does Mandy Patinkin count?
Yes,
Mandy Patinkin count. Can he come back to Broadway? I don't know what show that would be, but...
It would be Sunday in the Park with George or just
something. I don't know.
Colleen
I just think he's
Mandy
a genius. So
cut up.
Anything, yeah.
Well, I'm geeking out over you. Everyone, make sure that you watch Haters Back Off Season 2 and Season 1. You can binge it on Netflix now. You're an absolute delight. It has been so wonderful to have you here and to geek out with you.
Me too. This has been my favorite interview ever, because we get to talk about musical theater.
Oh my gosh. I just wanted us to go have lunch behind the bush together now. So that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna recreate Sunday in the Park with George. Or I'll be the baker.
Okay, perfect. Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
It takes 2. But one was enough, it's not true. It takes 2 of us. Okay, that's all, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. This has been your Broadway buddy, Ben Cameron, and of course, Colleen Ballinger.
Yay,
and we're signing off saying, have a great show.
Thank you.
I love you.
Love you. I mean, can't reach, but I love you.